I believe that even if I do someday get actual professional production facilities, and that seems about as likely as me flying to Venus by flapping my nose. If I ever do get such facilities, I'll probably stick to those amateur title cards. I've come to like them. They're kind of cute. At least I think so. You might not. Uh, Everyone's got an opinion, right? I'm Robert McKay. If this is your first video on this channel, I have been drinking whiskey just slightly over 2 years now. And I began this channel with the idea of bringing together in one place all the things that I wanted in one place and couldn't find in one place back in 2021 when I was starting off with whiskey. And I am a thorough amateur. That's why this is a thoroughly amateur production. Amateur lighting. I use the webcam on my laptop. And I am a hick. If you can't tell that by the way I talk, then you're probably using the closed captioning, and who knows if it even works. I don't even know if you have to actually set it up. I am a thorough amateur. The topic today, and I wound up making them all questions, is a three-part question anyway. In fact, what exactly is proof? What is foolproof? What is borrow proof? These are terms you run into. Now, you're going to find that most people don't talk about whiskey in terms of proof. They talk about it in terms of alcohol by volume. And what that simply means is if you have a fifth of whiskey, 750 milliliters is the standard metric measurement. It's roughly equivalent to a fifth of a gallon. The amount of whiskey in there, say it's 750 milliliters, if it's 50% alcohol by volume, which is 100 proof, and I'll get to how that works, then half of that liquid is alcohol. 750, 25. If I'm doing the math in my head right, do not quote me on this. I'm not good at math, never have been. I've tried, it doesn't work for me. But I believe that's about 275 milliliters out of 750 will, or is it 375? Anyway, half of it will be alcohol. Even though I didn't start drinking whiskey till 2021, I grew up around people who drank liquor, whiskey, various other things. And so I learned the proof system. And in the United States, proof is the alcohol by volume times 2. So if you have something that, say, is 64% alcohol by volume, you multiply that by 2, it's 128 proof. If you want to know alcohol by volume, but all you have is the proof, then you divide by 2. Say you have something that's 110 proof. Divide by 2, it's 55% alcohol by volume. And like I say, I think in terms of proof. If all I know is the ABV, as people refer to it, excuse me, my voice was working fine until I started recording videos. If all I have is the ABV, I have to do the multiplication and get the proof before it registers in my mind just how strong this bottle is. Other people probably, if all they have is the proof, would have to divide by 2, get the alcohol by volume, and then they would have a grasp on the strength of it. I came from an older time. I learned how to think about the strength of alcohol back in the 70s. And There are a whole lot of people drinking whiskey weren't even born in the 70s. I'm not old, but man, these young people are getting younger every year. Okay, that's what proof is. What is full proof? The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives regulates alcohol production and labeling. They have what they call the Tax and Trade Bureau, which regulates all these things. They have to approve a whiskey label before you can slap it on a bottle. That's a federal agency. It's unconstitutional. The Constitution does not give the federal government the authority to regulate these things, but that's what we live with, unfortunately. We have a federal government which hasn't obeyed the Constitution since 1861. But the government says that you cannot put bourbon or rye whiskey or corn whiskey into the barrel at any more than 125 proof. You do the math, that's a 62.5% alcohol by volume, I believe. And I'm not going to try to do the math all the way along. I've explained how it works. I just thought I'd try it there and found out maybe I shouldn't have. But full proof is that full up to the limit proof. Now, most distilleries put the whiskey in the barrel lower than that. Maker's Mark, I believe it is, puts the whiskey in the barrel at 110 proof, which is pretty low. But in the barrel, as the whiskey ages in an American climate, water evaporates more quickly than alcohol, so the proof is going to go up, and we'll get to that in a minute. But full proof is that maximum proof going into the barrel. The only full proof whiskey I've ever had is Buffalo Trace White Dog, which they sell at 125 proof. And I need to get me another bottle of it. It's very simple. It's totally unaged. It's just what comes off the still. But it tasted good. It's the closest I've ever had to actual illegal liquor. Then what is barrel proof? That is the proof of the whiskey as it comes out of the barrel. I said a moment ago that in the American climate, you've got your whiskey in there, it's alcohol and water, and the water evaporates faster than the alcohol does, so the amount of water goes down quicker than the amount of whiskey does, and so the proof is going up in the barrel. In Scotland, it's the other way around. Scotland and Ireland, they have a totally different climate, and over there, the amount of alcohol in the barrel goes down faster than water. And so their proof in the barrel goes down. In the States, the proof in the barrel goes up. So you might put whiskey in the barrel at, say, 120 proof. And when you get it out of the barrel 6 years later, it might be at 125 proof. It will have gone up 5 proof points. And, the higher the proof going into the barrel, higher the barrel proof will be when you dump the barrel. And you can get barrel proof whiskey that is 125, 128, 130. I'm almost done with a bottle of Jack Daniel's single barrel proof, and it is 128.2 proof, 3.2 points higher than the maximum it could have gone into the barrel. That's because of the evaporation of the water. So, proof is a measure of how strong the whiskey is. In the United States, proof is alcohol by volume times 2. Full proof is 125 proof, the maximum the government will allow you to put it into the barrel. And barrel proof is the strength of the whiskey, as it comes out of the barrel. No dilution down to proof. If the barrel when you dump it is 133.9 proof, then that's barrel proof. And these are terms that do have a legal meaning. A lot of whiskey terms don't, and I've done a video a ways back on reading a whiskey label, and there are things on whiskey labels that the government lets you put on there but don't have a legally defined meaning. Small batch, for instance. What's a small batch? Well, it depends on the distiller. It depends on what they want to do. They might be dumping hundreds of barrels at once, but they call it a small batch for marketing. These terms, proof, full proof, barrel proof, have legal meanings, and so you see them on a label, you know exactly what you're dealing with. Meanwhile, I'm trying to get a standard, or a more or less standard, ending to these videos. And so, though I don't have a glass in my hand, I won't pour any whiskey till tonight. I want to say to you, have a good day. Here's mud in your eye.